Hello, Play for Performance friends. Today, I am so pleased to introduce our guest, Jen Abels. She's an event facilitator at Feet First Eventertainment. Jen has a diverse background, having served as an insurance underwriter, professional dancer, and founder of a charity. Her journey has taken her from a Philadelphia office to being a guest at the White House, and she's been honored with the flag flown in her name at Kandahar Airfield in Afghanistan. Jen's accomplishments include features on ABC, KUSI, and the CW, as well as nominations for Woman of the Year by San Diego Magazine and Women Who Mean Business by the San Diego Business Journal. She has received the Inspiration Award from the Center for Health and Legacy and was recognized for outstanding service by the California State Senate. Specializing in gratitude, resilience, and personal reinvention, Jen delivers interactive presentations that motivate and empower audiences. Based in San Diego with her rescue dog, Sadie Rose, she enjoys teaching ballroom and Latin dancing, performing musical improv, and leading unique team building activities. Please welcome me and welcoming Jen. We're so glad to have you today.
Hey, thank you. It's great to be here.
Awesome. You have quite a background. Is there anything that I missed or you'd like to elaborate on a little bit more that's made you who you are today?
I mean, it's a big conglomeration of lots of everythings. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of what makes it the beauty of one person. It's a
Right.
mix of everything.
I love that. That's amazing. I think we all have those to some degree, right?
hmm
So, how has your diverse career path from insurance underwriter to professional dancer and charity founder influenced your approach to event facilitation at Feet First?
It's a great question. Everyone comes from such a diverse, different background, and everyone plays in a different way. We all approach play from a different perspective. So, for example, my background in ballroom dancing, I taught someone from a different walk of life every 45 minutes. So I might have a butcher walk in the door 1 minute, followed by a diplomat the next minute. Everybody approaches it in a different way. Same thing with play. Everybody has a different way of approaching whether they're playing a game, whether they're doing an activity. Some people jump right into it. Some people need to think about it at first. Eventually, everybody gets to the same destination, but everybody goes about it in a different path.
It's very enlightening. I like that. Are there any experiences that you can look back on when you were teaching dancing, just because I'm curious, that really
Mhm.
resonate with you?
I have tons. I spent a big majority of my time over the last 8 years teaching adaptive dance to wounded warriors. So I would teach mostly gentlemen that when I first began that had missing one or more limbs that they had lost in Iraq or Afghanistan, and watching someone go from, I don't want to come in, I don't want to do this, and watching them slowly learn different balance on their prosthetic leg, um, moving forward, moving backwards, starting to spin on that leg, and watching themselves in the mirror being like, hey, wow, I can do this thing, to learning a routine, being able to complete that routine. And then someone with a traumatic brain injury learning to change that routine. From 1 week they learned it, next week we switch it to a different hand. That's actually a complex brain function. So being able to switch that from one hand to the other hand. And then someone with post-traumatic stress being able to laugh, being able to smile, being able to be in close proximity to another person. The trajectory of someone's journey from when they first come in through the door to, I don't want to be here, I don't want to do this, to like, hey, are we going out to a salsa club this weekend? That journey for me was amazing to watch, and like just such an honor to be a facilitator, to be a part of.
Yeah, it's giving me goosebumps just hearing you tell that story. I can imagine that would be something that is, and it also gives back to you because of your service to them. I'm sure that that's such a kind of full circle moment. That's incredible. So how any key experiences or achievements that have been like most instrumental in establishing your expertise in team building and event facilitation?
I'd say that my entire career has been in some sort of facilitation. I started back when I was in my 20s facilitating music and marching band workshops for teenage kids. So I was a drum major of my high school marching band, but I also became the drum major of my college band. So I started at a very young age, leading groups of kids through activities in a goal towards music education, music performance, and with our marching band. And we do all of that through play. You can't just come in and lead a 5-day workshop in the heat of summer, marching around a field and have it be serious the entire time. Kids are just going to drop out and it's not going to be fun. You have to make it fun. You have to gamify things. You have to make it play. It's silly. We play games with it and you learn. And it taught me at a very, very young age that this is the way you get people engaged. This is the way to make learning fun. And this is the way to make people stay. And like, I want to do this. And like you have kids like cheering while they're pouring in sweat that, yeah, I just did 10 push-ups. Yeah. That, I'm watching these masters to me of these educators work with 600 kids, again, in 90 something degree heat, who are just going bonkers, losing their minds, having the best time, sweating and cheering and running around doing silly marching band drills, but because they made it fun, because they made it a game, because they took play and made that part of like an essential part of learning, that I was like, this is how I have to approach everything. So that became also how I would teach. I would teach, everything was lighthearted, everything was fun, everything made my entire teaching approach different. I think that what made me successful as a teacher was that I became much more lighthearted, that everything became play with it. Dance is play. Play isn't just, games. Dancing is playing. Dancing is playing around to music. What fits, what works, what doesn't. What do you like to listen to? Let's play with that,
I love the story, and I didn't know this about you before you just mentioned it, about teaching marching bands. Like that's amazing. And then I had this light bulb moment of like, it seems like from high school to college is where we kind of lose that play. And then when in the workplace, it just becomes even more mundane and blah. But that's an exciting experience. I knowing your background, I'd love to see you teach those classes. That would be fun.
Oh, it's so fun. And you know what? A lot of people stop, like you say, we stop somewhere between high school and college. And I'm really fortunate and really grateful that I had that opportunity to not only teach with them through college, but I only stopped teaching with them somewhere in my 40s. I kept teaching every single summer with them. And the crew of us, it's called George Parks Drum Major Academy. The crew of us that work at those academies throughout the summer, they're still going. People from my class, they're still teaching every summer because we all love it. We all love this community that we've created. And I only stopped because my charity took away so much of my time. But there's a crew of us that are still going strong every summer that are out there because we love it.
I see that and one of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast is because there are so many people that are in the play space and work or in life that see the benefits of it, that want to dive into it and want to spread the word of how much it helps whatever place you're in, if it's school band, summer camps, if it's a work conference, if it's an event, if it's, all these things, we see the value of bringing play to those places where, yes, summer band camp is miserable. I live in Texas and I can't imagine out in the, yuck. But to make it fun and to make it exciting encourages them to keep going. It also, from what I've heard and experienced in other area band communities, they have this family feel that they all work together. And I think that's not just in band play, but I think it's in everywhere we play. Like we're part of this together. Let's get our hands dirty and let's play. Is not the opposite of work. Play can be work and is often very, very productive in whatever environment we choose to encourage play in.
Yeah. And with music, I mean, the play on the word play, music, you have to play an instrument to play, but in music, in the band, and again, the play on the word band, it's all one circle, right? We all have to play towards a common goal. There's no second string that comes in, this troop of trumpet players, you're out, the next one in. No, we all have to do it together. Like it's the whole band performing at once all the time at the same time together. So everybody's important. Everybody plays together. Everybody's together. It's not it's everybody's as important as the other person.
That's the way it should be across all those places. So a little change of topic from real life band to how virtual team events, how do you guys facilitate those? How do you encourage remote workers to be involved and participate? What does that look like for you?
We do both live. Well, I guess they're all live, whether they're in person or whether they're virtual events. The virtual events are all hosted over Zoom, and I have to admit, I'm one of those people who is such an extrovert when I'm doing these team events that I was like, can that really work online? When the Feet First events we were in person. We were just going to do some virtual events to get us through the 6 weeks of the pandemic, since that's all it was going to take was 6 weeks. So we developed a few games to just kind of get us by. And then it became our whole business, obviously, for several years. And I was a big skeptic, but it turned out that as long as we, the facilitators, brought the energy and brought the enthusiasm, that could actually translate through the screen. And I think that that's our responsibility and our job as facilitators we have to bring the fun, we have to bring the energy, and we have to bring the excitement. If your audience is coming in at a 2 and you come in at a 3, well, we're not going very far. So I can't come in at a 10 because then I got nowhere to go. But, if we come in at 2 and we come in at 8, I can start bringing you up, and then together we can climb together.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I'm really impressed with Zoom and the technology of Zoom and breakout rooms and whiteboards. I mean, we created our artwork that went on water kits that we donated to different villages across Uganda for some charity projects. We do game shows. We do amazing races that are done through Google Maps. There's so much that we got done online, and watching people, like our job as facilitators, when we send teams into breakout rooms to work together, then we bring them back to the main session to kind of compete against each other. When they go into their breakout rooms to work as a team together, we kind of pop in and we can be a fly on the wall because a lot of times they don't notice that we're there. And then you hear them like collaborating with each other and be like, what do you think the other team? Let's beat them. And like hearing the like friendly competition between the other teams. But then you really see, you can see all the screens, you can see everybody collaborating and working together with it. So I turned from skeptic to biggest believer. Yeah. And the time flies by. Our events are 90 minutes and that 90 minutes flies by.
Probably for you and the participants, I can imagine, because everyone's so engaged and everyone's so involved and they lose track of time. That's the way we kind of want it to be.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So obviously COVID was the reason why we all had to adjust to the Zoom and all the things. Do you see that y'all are still doing as many virtual classes, or are some of those moving back to in person now that some of those restrictions have lifted?
We've definitely moved back to doing in-person events, but there's still a lot of virtual events that take place because I think the workplace also shifted, right? That COVID taught a lot of places that, it's not necessary for everybody to be in the office all the time. So either it's been a hybrid office or people actually sticking with completely remote, but then the need still remains of how do we keep people together? How do we keep our teams bonded? How do we still do team building activities? How do we still make sure people are connected? How do we make sure we still build a sense of camaraderie when there are people who are remote, but there are people who are in the office? How do we do this? Or the companies that we work with that are completely remote, where people never meet with each other. To me, those are the most important events that we do online, because these people never see each other. They only ever meet online. And so a lot of teams that I've worked with, they're online. The way they meet each other is they sit, online and they work together, just, a work session where they're just silently working together, or, having a meeting, but they're just sitting on Zoom screen together working and it's quiet, versus we come in and we're like, yo, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually work and interact with each other, and they work with cross teams, like people they wouldn't normally work with. So somebody from accounting is working with somebody from sales who may not normally work and interact together. And so they get to meet people that they wouldn't normally interact with. And to me, that's been like the real fun part of watching what happens virtually and online. Now, that same thing happens in person, right? But being able to see it happen online too is really exciting.
Yeah, and there's some instances where working together just isn't going to work, and that's okay. It's nice to see that there's still that adaptation to working together through a remote session, however that looks. I bet you have some, like, maybe one or two really great stories of, I saw this interaction and I see the benefits. Can you share any of those with us?
I won't say the client.
That's fine. I get it.
But there was a client where we're playing our game. It's the virtual Amazing Race, where we send teams around the globe through the beauty of Google Maps to explore different cities, find different clues that we've hidden in different spots, and then they have to answer trivia. Well, this gentleman was like the most quiet, and everyone will call him Gary from accounting. No one assumes Gary from accounting is going to participate. He's quiet, whatever. Gary from accounting is like the fastest guy on Google Maps, happens to know trivia about every single place. He is zooming through the whole thing, and they're like, whoa, slow down. He is so on it. He is so focused. He is like laser focused, and he becomes the most competitive and the most like on track, laser focused. And he's like, no, focus, guys, we have to do this. And they're like, where did this come from? And like at the end, they're like, yeah, we got Gary on our team, man. We were going to win this thing. And he was just like, by the end, he was pumped. And
I love it.
I didn't not recognize him. He didn't stand out at the beginning. Like some people, when you first sign on, you can see them, they're chatting with you, they're interactive. And you're like, oh, okay, they're going to be real fun. They're going to be fun. Yeah. Didn't really stand out. But at the end, he's leaning in, like he is on it. He knows he's won this thing. He's gotten so competitive. I'm like, wow. And they come back and forth from their breakout room to the main session. And he comes in and he's like, give me the code word. Give me the code word. He is like all business, but like he is so excited to play.
And what a great way for the rest of the team, people, company, group, to see him shine in that environment. They would have never had that chance have you not had the game. That's amazing. I love those stories.
Yeah, and to me, that's like the beauty of any kind of game, any kind of play that you do, right? You don't notice that. Like we have in person, we do these game shows where you can challenge the host to like a minute to win at the game. One of them would be like cup stacking. Do you know what I mean? Like cup stacking, you stack them in a pyramid and then you break them down. You find out who had fun in their college years stacking cups. We're professionals at it. So like our host, maybe we'll do it with one arm to give them a challenge, but somebody will come up and be like, bam, 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 boom, and break them down really fast. And you're like, wow. Or somebody will be able to juggle. And you're like, what? Joe knows how to juggle? That's crazy. And everyone laughs and everyone's having a great time. And like, it's just something fun you find out about people that you just never would have in any other circumstance.
That's awesome. It's funny that you mentioned cup stacking. My daughter in elementary school qualified for like the Junior Olympic Cup Stacking National Championship.
No kidding.
So apparently the college game has been brought to the youth. And now my daughter she can do one-handed. She could do she's much older now, but still you brought it up and I laugh. I'm like, yeah, cup stacking is a thing for kids now too. But it's great.
We'll have a job for her. Yeah. Feet First Eventertainment. We're looking for professional cup stackers.
Yeah. It speaks to kids are doing some of the same things that we're doing as adults, and we can all learn from each other in all the places. These are good stories. I love them. So, and you mentioned it a little bit. Sometimes you have challenges. You've got people that maybe show up that don't want to participate. Are there any other challenges that you can consider that you've been able to overcome at Feet First?
I think the most important thing when thinking about any of the games, any of the events, is that you make sure everybody is included, right? You can't have an event that is all physical because there are people, myself included, who are not athletic. I might dance, but I'm not athletic. That if your event is very athletic focused, I'm not going to want to be involved. And I'm probably going to sit on the sidelines and I'm going to be very reluctant to participate. So, for an example, we have an event called the Survivor Games. And on the surface, if I just think about that, I'm thinking athletic events. I'm thinking I'm out. I don't want to play. But our games involve like giant human-sized Jenga, or like words with friends that are like human size. Like you are holding individual letters. So there's not like the activity level is very minimal. We make the games silly, we make them fun, but we make sure that there's a game that's inclusive for absolutely everybody. That you don't have to have any, physical requirement in order to play the games. I think that's to me the most important part of it. Because if somebody walks in and you see that there are people there who are like, I don't want to be here. But then by the end they're like, oh, I actually had fun.
Yeah, the potato sack race. I don't want to do that as an adult. I'm good. Thank you, though.
No. I don't need to. Well, I always say at the start of every event, I am not here to fill out paperwork. I do not want to go to HR. I don't want to. Nobody needs to go to the hospital today.
We don't want any injuries today. Just put yourselves in a word order and we're good.
No, exactly.
I like it. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So what initiatives do you guys implement to maintain employee engagement and satisfaction? Is there anything that you encourage them to continue to do after you're gone?
Well, we have what we call communication breakthroughs that we host with Feet First, where we take the leadership of maybe your company XYZ comes in and we do an event with them. And then after the event, we'll go with the leadership of XYZ to talk about what happened at the event. What did they see? What are some ways to follow up and follow through with what you saw through the event, so that the leaders can install and like follow through with what they learned with the event. Most of what we do is with the whole group activity, though.
Nice. Okay. And just because I'm curious more about Feet First, do y'all have a goal in mind, or is it just to incorporate play and include everybody? Is there any other type of like problem solving, or other than team building? Is there any other goal that's ever listed?
Well, each game I think has its own different goal. The overarching goal, right, is play and fun. Yeah. But each game has its own sort of creative goal in mind. Like one of the events that I love watching is Fluke, the air show, where it's a build your own airplane event, which involves a lot of creativity. Your engineering and creativity kind of come together at once, where you're given a bunch of like cardboard and paper clips, and how do you build an airplane. That we bring a launcher, and you're judged on the style of your aircraft, your accuracy of like you predict how far your plane is actually going to fly, and then actual distance that it does fly. You get a little action figure to fly your plane with you. We play games throughout the event so that you earn like enough points to like go and purchase from our little store different parts that you want to add to your plane. So watching people's creativity, we make them do a presentation about their craft, and some people get super creative about, this is from the 1960s special cardboard created by, Carl Cardboard. Just fun, silly. You can see how creative people get with it. But so like a game like that is, engineering and creativity in construction, which is completely different than the Survivor games that I mentioned earlier, where someone might be launching a rubber chicken across a parking lot. Again, I mentioned rubber chickens to you when we talked for the first time. Rubber chickens, literally one of my favorite events, hearing a chicken go whee as it launches across a field. What's the goal of that? Literally getting a chicken as far as it can go. But it's a team working together, right? There's two people on each side of a slingshot. There's one person launching it. There's somebody else running and getting the chicken. The game has points of working together. Like it's not just one person throwing a chicken. There's people working together towards a common goal.
Yep.
All of them have this underlying theme of working together towards a common goal. We just have very different ways to get there in all of the different events that we host.
Nice. I love it. And just again, the fun, just it sounds exciting. It's a day where we're being productive in our team building and understanding each other a little bit better, and we're having fun doing it. So that kind of breaks up the monotony of our workplace. I love that.
Yeah.
So how do you balance fun with professional objectives during those team building events?
The companies always give us what their objective is beforehand. And a lot of the time it's the same, right? They just want to make sure that the teams are bonding, that they're working together. The biggest part for us usually is making sure that the teams are evenly balanced between corporate leaders versus the rest of the staff. And so what we typically do is mix the teams, so that you're not having a team of executives versus the rest of the employees. Like, you don't want to do that. If you're looking for a balance and a way for people to work together, you need to mix that part up. So having it just being a random teams of people working together, that's how it's going to work. Be much more fluid, much more communicative, and much more of a team building experience.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
What has surprised you the most in observing adults at play?
I think that everybody has an inner child that wants to come out and play. I think what has surprised me most is observing just how long it takes for some people, for that child to be allowed to come out to play. For some people, they get there and, one event we have is building a Tinker Toy tower. For some people, they see the toys and they're instantly ready to play and build. Like, give me those things and let's build a tower. And, but some people are much more reserved, and it takes them a long time to feel like they can come out and play. But then when they hit that right event, when the right thing sparks them, they're out, that wall is dropped. You can literally see a weight lifted off of people once they're in the zone. And you can tell that they're in the moment. And that's the magic to me of play, right? That I can see when they walk in that they're still thinking about the work that's on their desk, that call that they have to make, the voicemail that they haven't returned yet, that they're still thinking about all of these things. But when they finally get it, when they're finally in the moment, there is nothing else happening but that very instant of play. That game that they're in, they're cheering their teammates on. They can't possibly be anywhere else but in that moment. And to me, that's the magic of what we do.
Yeah, they're being encouraged to play. They're being told, you get to play today. And I think so many of us now just need that release, need that distraction, what we want to call it.
Yeah.
So I think this might be my last question. What do you think is the biggest benefit to having play incorporated in the workday?
I alluded to it just a few minutes ago. I think it's the leveling of, no pun intended, the playing field, where I don't know what other instances you're going to get the executive team to interact with the rest of their employees in a way that feels safe, that feels fun, and that feels, in our words, easy, right? I'm playing Scrabble with you, life-size Scrabble with you. Like, I'm not competing, with you. I'm not trying, there's no tension. We're just trying to build a word together. In what other way are you going to do that? Is it going to be safe and easy for us to have that kind of camaraderie, that sort of fun together? To me, that's the most important part of it, is that I can see you as a human and not as a step above me, below me, wherever. We are level at that one moment.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So I have two more questions. I forgot my standard questions at the end.
Sure.
When was the last time you played with Lego bricks?
The last time was when Lego sent me some bricks.
Ooh, good for them. It sounds like you weren't expecting bricks from Lego. That's amazing.
It was fantastic. Lego is one of our clients at Feet First, And we worked with them to design an online interactive event with all of the Lego employees globally. And they were sending out Lego bricks to specifically for employees for this event. And we got to have them as facilitators so that we could facilitate the event with everybody. And I will tell you, we play all day. We have a Lego event that we run. We were so excited to get our own custom ones. We were like, did you guys get your Legos? And, the assignment was to build it beforehand because because we needed to know what we were doing before the event happened. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. We were, the little kid came out. And also I really found out, I forgot about how my little kid gets very competitive with herself. Mm-hmm. But I was like, oh, how can a kid do this?
Yeah, Legos are fun. I obviously include them in my business, so I always have to ask that question. So this is for real, the last question. You, over your years, have accumulated your toolbox for the work that you do, your dance lessons, your band, all those things, and the work that you do with Feet First. If you could give one thing to our audience today to take with them from your toolbox, what would you be willing to share?
Just try. If you feel stuck, play is the easiest way to get unstuck to me, because a lot of what I'm involved with is movement, whether it's dance, marching band, even the physical activities that we do with Feet First. A lot of people say they feel stuck in work and life and something. If you feel stuck even in an idea, if you feel stuck, move. Get up and move, get up and play, get up, whether that's getting up and doing a 5-minute dance party by yourself, 2 minutes, I don't know. You can even take 60 seconds, put on your favorite song and just dance. To me, 60 seconds of dancing to your favorite song is a way of playing. When you feel stuck, move.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It has been such an honor having you today. Thank you so much for your time, for your expertise, for your encouragement, for all of the things. Jen Abels, how do our guests get in contact with you if they wanted to reach out to you directly?
If you want to reach out to directly, my website is just jenabels.com, JENABLES.com. If you want to do an event with Feet First, you can go to feetfirstevents.com and request Jen Abels as your facilitator.
I love it. Thank you. And you're also on LinkedIn, so they can find you on LinkedIn as well.
You can find me on LinkedIn with my full name, my legal name, Jennifer Abels.
So businessy. I know you're so
official.
Serious. Well, thank you so much for your time. We really enjoyed having you. For all of our guests, thanks for joining us for Play for Performance. We'll see you next time. That's a wrap on another episode of Play for Performance. I hope today's conversation sparked some ideas for how you can bring more joy and engagement into your workplace. Remember, transforming workplace culture doesn't happen overnight, but every small step toward play and connection makes a difference. Try one thing we discussed today, even something small, and see what happens. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who could use a little more play in their professional life. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our weekly conversations with incredible guests who are changing the game of workplace engagement. Have a guest suggestion or want to share your own play at work story? Reach out to me at Jolynn and elevateyourtalent.co or find me on LinkedIn. I love hearing from you. Until next week, keep playing, keep performing, and remember, work doesn't have to be taken seriously to be serious. This has been Play for Performance. I'm Jolynn Ledgerwood, and I'll see you next time.